Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today we've got some extra commentary after the tournament that we did commentary on earlier last week. You can check that out with the iCard up at the top. We've got Purple Luffy and Starter Deck 1 Red Luffy here. We got two matches for you today. Thank you so much to these players for letting me record this game, and also Dark Side Games, the location where we're recording at. If you want to get some One Piece TCG singles, make sure to go to Dark Side's website. You can use the link in the description below. So this matchup right here, Purple Luffy and Red Luffy. I know that Red Luffy, the starter deck one, has been making a little bit of rounds on YouTube lately. I feel like I've seen a couple deck profiles from a couple different people about the decks. So this is going to be a high flying match, I'm sure, because if I know these two players, I know they play really fast. So we're going to try to get you as good as we can. And so both players are going to be starting out right here. Purple Luffy starting with 2 queens, page 1 law, and then Red Luffy, I'm not sure what they had, but they're taking it instantly. So probably something to play on turn 1 and turn 2. If I had to take a guess, Purple Luffy is going to end up taking it, going first and passing, moving on to Red Luffy's turn. Instantly going to be dropping 1. Going to play that Straw Hat Searcher. Going to be finding a character card of sorts, and looking at the hand here on what they have, they're going to grab a 2-cost 2K counter Sanji. So moving into Purple Luffy's turn now. Going in here, and I'd imagine that they'd take one of their own life to get 4 Dawn going, and going to be swinging 9. You could have thought that they played the Trafalgar Law, but just swinging 9, taking a life, evening it up in the life totals, and now 4 life each on the 4 Dawn turn for Red Luffy. Going to be swinging right away. Got a little bit of counter power in hand, and just going to be using that Trafalgar Law, and then using resting 3, putting a leader effect on the Zoro. Going to be swinging 7, taking a life right there, and putting Purple Luffy at 3. Now moving into the 6 Dawn turn, going to be playing that Law real quick, catching the Red Luffy with 7 in their hand. Going to be trashing the Zoro and Gum Gum Jet Pistol. So pretty good, I will say, anytime that you can take out a rush Zoro especially. So thinking about what they want to do with the other 2 Dawn, probably just going to attach it to Purple Luffy here, swing 7. And it would be interesting to see if they're going to swing either at Zoro or Luffy in this spot, because you definitely want to minimize the amount of swings, right? So whatever they swung at, they are going to 2K counter out of it, plus the 1, so making it 8. So keeping everything intact, both characters and life right there. And now in the 6 Dawn turn, the Zoro is going to swing 5 at first, going to be countered out a 1K, and then a swing 6 here. There is a 5-drop, could be a Chaka or a Rush Luffy, and so using leader effect, attaching 1 Dawn, swinging 7 at the Purple Luffy, and a Gum Gum Jet Gatling is going to come down, ditching a queen and moving into their turn. So we've got the next turn coming on. I believe this is the 7 Dawn turn. Polly is active if he wants to, but he's eyeing up the Magellan right here. The Magellan could be interesting at this point, but going to be attaching 2 and swinging 7 at Zoro. Going to be taking that and then using the rest of the Dawn for that Magellan to put 1 Dawn back for the Luffy. But I feel like the Luffy, you don't really care as much about that at this stage of the game, because you've still got 7 Dawn. That's plenty to work with when you have a lot of like low cost characters. Like, we know they have a Sanji in hand, we see the Makino in there, we know they play Zoros and Rush Luffy's, so could be interesting to see how this plays out. So attaching 1 active and swinging 7 at leader, could Gum Gum Jet Gatling again, and it looks like that's what they're going to do, discarding a page 1. And so with the other 5 Dawn, you could like put a Chaka here, you could put another Zoro down, and it looks like it's going to be a Jet Pistol. They're taking out that Magellan, putting them 2 Dawn back, and so attaching the other 2 active Dawn and the leader effect to swing 8. I guess you don't really mind when you have that leader effect to take out that Magellan at that point, rather just control the board. So interesting idea And so after putting them to 2 life, the purple Luffy is going to take one of their own to hit the 9 Dawn turn and put down that Kaido there. Going to be popping the purple Luffy and now swinging 5 at leader and then swinging 10 at leader. 10 I think the Kaido is. And so 1 life left for the purple Luffy. We've got the red Luffy at 3, and so we're going to have 7 Dawn now. Going to be putting a Chaka down using leader effect to add a Dawn to the Chaka, and then using Chaka's activate main effect times 1 Dawn to put 2 rested Dawn on a leader or character. So doing that, and the other 2 active Dawns going to be a 9k swing and taking that last life for purple Luffy. So now purple Luffy kind of in a tough spot. I feel like at this point you do have some blockers in Queen and Kid, but I'd imagine that they'd run Diable Jambe in here, so that could be definitely a scoundrel to your plan. But you also kind of just want to get rid of the Chaka. So after using the Queen effect, ditching the Poly, and using a 6k swing, countered by 2, and then the Kaido hits for life. So 2 life left at 9 Dawn and 0 life with only 1 blocker to get through. I feel like you're sitting pretty good, especially because your Chaka lived at that point. So going to be thinking about what they want to do. Going to be playing a Sanji, the Sanji from the starter deck, going to be a rush Sanji. And so with the leader effect and also the Chaka effect, going to be attaching those 2 Dawn to the Sanji and swinging 8 at leader first, and then 7, and then Luffy swinging 9 to take the game there. So really, really strong game, I feel like, for the red Luffy. I do know that they play a second one because they still had time before the store closed and before everybody else was done with their rounds, because again, these are very fast players. That was only like, what, 7 minutes? 7-minute match. This is on 1 times speed. This is not on times 2 or 1.5 or anything like that. So we'll move into the next game. If you're purple Luffy at this point, I definitely think you can take advantage of potentially using something like the Magellan earlier to really set back and prevent like something like the Chaka and stuff from going on, because the Chaka felt really, really good in that combo for the red Luffy. Felt like it was a really good reason why the purple Luffy was really able to excel in that late game. So now both players have cut their decks, drawing 5 here. We'll see exactly what happens. And red Luffy and purple Luffy both just going to keep it. It looks like red Luffy is going to go first, playing Nami. So purple Luffy going second in this game. The Nami is going to grab a Radical Beam. Very, very strong card. And now going into 2 Dawn, there's not really a play that the Luffy can make at this point, but going to pass it off to the red Luffy. They swing 5, countered out with the page 1, and then lay down the Zoro and pass, opting not to swing. And so the purple Luffy swings 5 there, and then gets life, takes their own life, and puts down the Eustace Captain Kid. Moving into the red Luffy's turn now, going to be at 5 Dawn here. You've got a couple different attackers that you can use, but using Jet Pistol to get rid of that blocker and swing 5 at lead, and then use leader effect potentially to do 7, or you could use like another Nami searcher, but going to be opting to use that 7 like I mentioned, and swing 7 at life to put the purple Luffy player at 3. And so instead of using the Gum Gum Jet Gatling for an event, a counter event, going to be using it for its trigger effect and ramping a Dawn. So getting 9 Dawn now this turn with the leader effect, going down to 2 life. There is a Kaido that they can play if they want, or they could spread it out a little bit with other effects. So going to just be playing the Kaido after swinging 5 and a quick counter out of that, getting rid of that Zoro and swinging 10, going to be taking a life. It is a little bit closer in this game, and Luffy did get really ramped up really, really fast. So we'll see if it's far enough to get ahead of the red Luffy. So they're going to rest what I believe is 5 and play that Chaka, big part of their Wombo combo in this. So if you're purple Luffy, you really want to get rid of that Chaka as fast as possible. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to get to 9, so that can be a little tough. Using the Chaka effect to put 2 Dawn on the Nami and attach an active one to swing 5 right here, going to be a 1k counter with the Scratchman of Pooh, and then using the remaining Dawn to swing 6 at Purple Luffy with a 2k counter X-Drake. So moving in now, it's the 6 Dawn turn, 7 if you use leader ability. There are a couple different options that you can do in here. I see the Sheep's Horn. The Sheep's Horn could be a combo that you use. Will use leader effect for 7, or is it 8? I can't remember. It looks like it's going to be 7. So going to be resting 5 and then resting 2, using the Sheep's Horn, putting down a Eustace Captain Kidd and then the Sheep's Horn, and you get to ramp 1 Dawn as well because of the Eustace Captain Kidd effect. So with 1 more Dawn, going to be attaching it to the Luffy. Could swing at life, but is opting to swing at the Nami. So getting rid of that Nami body, and then the Kaido swinging at the Chaka to get rid of it. So good adjustment in this game. We'll see if it's far enough for the red Luffy to still take advantage. And it looks like they're going to hard play a Marco for no value of the on play effect, but getting a body down and then swinging 10 instant block at that point. So Purple Luffy now going into this turn, going to be drawing 1, playing 2 Dawn right there, up and going. There is like a Magellan, a Gum Gum Gatling, page 1 in the hand, X-Drake, Scratchman, a Pooh. So definitely what would you play here? You don't have any blockers to put down in the upcoming swing, so you definitely like save the X-Drake. That's for sure. Even if you do the Magellan, they still get to 10 Dawn next turn. So just going to be opting to do that. And then we'll see what else they do. Could just hard play the Scratchman to Pooh or keep it in hand at this point. Just distribute the Dawn to Luffy and swing 9. And it looks like they are going to swing 9. Going to be taking that life, putting them at 2, and then swinging 10. Going to be taking them to 1. So life now at 1s. We'll see exactly how this goes. So again, like I mentioned, the 10 Dawn turn, going to be attaching 1 to the Marco, swinging 7. And so a Gum Gum Gatling is going to put the Purple Luffy to 8. Going to be resting 3, probably for a Rush Zoro. It is, and could use leader effect for the Rush Zoro. They've split their Dawn up in 3. So going to use an active and a rested through leader effect to swing 7. And it looks like it's going to dump the hand 2k and a 1k. So Purple Luffy, unless they throw down a Zoro, can't win this turn. If they have another Zoro, they could swing 5 and then use the other 2 active Dawn to swing 7 and probably take a knockout, right? Because even a Gum Gum Jet Gatling would not finish the game. And I think that's what they would do. But since they haven't thrown it down yet, they probably don't have that. So going to be swinging 6, taking that, and 4 Dawn left. We know they have a Rad Beam for the beginning of the game. So all they got to do is get out of this turn right now. If they can survive this turn, they can win. And there's a reason to believe that the Purple Luffy could potentially win this game. We know they have 1 Rad Beam, so that's 9. But they've got a substantial amount of cards in hand, the red Luffy. So even if you do swing, you need 2 of them to hit, right? So can you reasonably think that you can get those 2 to hit? And so I think they're swinging at the Marco right now, so opting to instead kind of clear board. And so they're going to take out that Marco. The Marco not coming back through the revive effect. And so the 5k Luffy up there taking the life. And it looks like even after throwing the Kid and the Poly down raw, it looks like the red Luffy is like, hey, I've got game now, because you have no cards in hand, and I have the beautiful, glorious, everybody's favorite card, Diable Jambe. So that's going to be a quick 2-0, literally less than 15 minutes of gameplay at the point of this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you appreciated these extra games that we had at locals going on. Very, very cool to see the red Luffy, especially starter deck Luffy, in action. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and check out more videos that we got on the channel, commentary, and maybe subscribe for some upcoming ones like the Osaka, Japan championships when we do commentary on that. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.